Yo gamers, what's up? It's Gold Demon back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Gallagher, and well, he's going to be a pretty decent 4-star healer. You can sort of think of him as like a 4-star Luocha, except you build break instead of attack, right? That's kind of how he works. He's got more complexity to that, but he should provide a pretty decent solo sustain option for many of your teams if you are looking for another option. Of course, as always, 5-star limited sustains are very powerful, but maybe you'll give him a try as he does provide quite a lot for, a select number of teams. So he's okay. I made a mistake with this. My bad. One sec. My apologies. I had the name wrong. I had it as fire preservation instead of prior abundance. But anyways, so you're gonna want to farm up the 5 of the new materials. Gonna want to farm up 5 of the new materials. The alien tree seeds. They are not currently available. They'll be available next update via the live stream where Hoyo announced this. Right. You'll find them in the new areas that they will unlock. Right. As well as 50 of the boss materials, right? I can't show you the location because, again, it's not officially in game, and I also wouldn't know where it is either, right? But it's this new fire material for fire characters in Pinacone, so you might want to also farm that for Sam if you do happen to go for that character. As for the weekly boss drops, it is the same as other newer characters. It's going to be this bug monster that you can find in the Herta Space Station Seclusion Zone, and you will have to complete the Dr. Ratio and Rune May questline to unlock this boss right here. So he'll also use the same materials as Acheron in terms of enemy drops. So that's going to be all the memory zone and like robots, right, that you can find across Pinacone. As well as you'll need your 5 tracks of destiny, 3.3 million credits, right, 291 books, right, depending on how many XP books you have. And so there's that. As for the relics, you're going to either want 4-piece thief, 2-piece guard, 2-piece hackerspace, or 2-piece disciple. Whatever has the best stats for you, you're going to want to pick that, right? And you're looking for multiple key stats. You're going to want speed, break, HP, effect res, and defense, right? Now, the main goal here is to hit 150 break so that you get your max of your heal passive that he has, right? One of his traces. That's the goal. Other than that, you're going to need about 22 effect hit rate, or sorry, effect res, so that you have E1 and beyond complete immunity to debuffs, right? He'll be at 100 plus, effect res. So that will be really strong for defensive viability because you won't have to worry about him getting CC'd, not being able to heal, and all that stuff, right? He'll have full uptime, right? And just completely immune to debuffs. 4-piece thief is great as it gives you break, so it will save you some substats so that you can get other stats that are needed, right? Although 2-piece guard and 2-piece hackerspace are of course very strong in their own right because that is damage reduction and speed, and he wants to go fast and have max uptime on his effects. That being said, as for the body, boots, orb, and rope, you're gonna want heal or HP percent. Again, pick whichever one you need. You can get away without running heal percent body if you want them to be extra tanky. You can just run HP, right? Or defense body if you really want to. Boots, highly recommend speed, as again, him having the most uptime possible is gonna matter. As for the orb, again, it can go either way, defense or HP. The rope, you can do energy recharge rope or break rope. I personally will be doing break rope because he doesn't gain significance in terms of rotation by himself with ER rope, right? He'll have to get hit or a couple things to get a faster rotation. Otherwise, a skill, basic skill will be the default rotation, so he'll get a 4-turn ultimate. And with his E4, he'll have pretty high uptime considering it's a enemy turn debuff, right? So he'll have really high uptime with his healing, right? His healing aura, even without like full energy recharge build, right? And so that will be up to the user, right? As I've already said, you're going to want speed enough just to make him generate skill points and have active uptime, and then break to hit that threshold of at least 150 for his max healing passive. Other than that, just the 22 break, or sorry, effect res, so that you hit your 100 effect res and he's immune to debuffs, right? Everything else from there is going to be defensive stats. You could focus him towards a crit build if you really want to, right? That is an option. I don't recommend that though, but he could be as a sort of like frontliner for a team if you really want to, or you can run him like that in the break team, right? As a additional damage option, right? But again, not recommended, just sort of throwing that out there in case you do want to do that. As for the planar orbs, you're either going to want Neil, Ageless, or Pinacone. Talala works, but I wouldn't recommend it over the other options because those other options give you support or are intrinsic to his current build. As I said, the 5 energy recharge of Pinacone will help him with his ult rotation with the skill, basic skill, and the Neil one will just give you crit to everybody, so it just works, right? And then obviously Ageless is good for tanking and general support. As for the team, there really isn't like any specific team. Of course, there's the break team where you put him with, whatever DPS or other debuffers with Rune Mei, and then give him break, right? So you'll do a lot of break damage. That will be up to the player. And then there's, of course, Acheron, who he will be a very strong sustain for Acheron, especially at the lower investment levels, right? If you aren't getting another 5-star sustain, he'll be very good in that team. As for the light cones, it's really up to you. You have a variety of options. Post-op does give you energy recharge, and that's its only real use for his ult rotation. Again, it's not significant enough to where I would say you want to run it, but you can run it. As for the 5-star one, time waits for no one, that's Bilo's light cone. You could run this for the overall healing and tanky stats, but again, I don't think it would be as useful as these other light cones. Like the current free one, What is Real. This one gives him more break, so it makes him easier to build and will allow you to do more damage when you do break, as well as giving you healing for himself so that he will be basically at full HP at all times. Perfect Timing is also another decent option, as this will give you healing percent even more on top of what you're already doing, because you're already building a lot of effect res on this character. And so this will allow him to heal for massive chunks while, benefiting more from building into effect res. So it'll be a very good option. If you want a utility light cone, you would obviously build for either multiplication or shared feeling, as multiplication will give you action advance, meaning that he'll get a lot of turns because he'll be primarily doing his basic, right? And he'll be able to go a lot. And so this will help with building speed and generating skill points, right? And as well as general overall healing, because again, he has a healing aura for you attacking the enemy while it's on them, right? It's a debuff. Shared feeling is also good for general use, as it will give energy to everybody, but of course in the Acheron team she doesn't get energy, so there's less value there, but it will still obviously help your other teammates, right? The Knight of Terror 5-star light cone, Ho-Ho's light cone, is still going to be a pretty solid option, but again, I don't really expect people to have that, and I see it being less practical than the other ones, right? And then obviously Quid Pro Quo, same issue as Shared Feeling. Acheron doesn't get energy, but could be useful for other characters. And that's really about it. As I said, you build him based on what you want. You can either go for more damage, more survivability, or more team buffs, right? It's really up to you. He's kind of like a 4-star Loacha, right? He's gonna basic attack. He doesn't have an auto cast, but he's gonna basic attack, use his skill to heal, and then with his ult apply an aura that increases the break damage dealt, and it gives you healing for attacking the enemy. And it's a debuff. I know I call it an aura, but that's just like a term, right? It is a debuff, so it will be applied to the enemy. As well as when you do ult, he'll activate his enhanced basic attack that you can use immediately because he gets turn advance into the turn, and it will allow you to heal the team and give the team a burst of healing and reduce the enemy's attack. So he has 2 debuffs, right? And attack reduction can be very useful, as that, directly reduces the damage you'll be taking from the enemies. Other than that, though, I think he'll be a pretty solid healer. As well as just generally be good. And you don't need a lot of eidolons for him to perform well. I'd say ideally you're hunting for E2 because that gives him the cleanse. And then other than that, E4 is for healing uptime. So yeah, hopefully this helps you with your pre-farming for Gallagher. Again, unfortunately we can't pre-farm a lot of it because he's not in the game yet, or this stuff's not in the game. It will be once the update goes live, so be prepared for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe.